to tell me that you was in danger, extreme danger for your whole life, you and the girl Clarissa, and you ain't even gonna drop no tea on that? That's bullshit. Little butterfly. That's bullshit.
Hello, black hole. See this brother winning, man. Hey, hey, look, what is your win, babe? What is your win, babe?
If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Okay, 2 quick announcements, right? Y'all know I'm on my way back home, if I'm not already back home by the time y'all get this video. Okay, so please be prepared. Some of the videos will be Spreakers. Some of the videos will be, you know, where you can see me on camera. Some of the videos will be a mixture of both. Okay, I don't know what I'm feeling in this video. The second announcement would be everyone who purchases from Uptop Beauty during this time where I'm back home between the 1st and the 18th, just know your shipment will be delayed, but it will have a special little something inside. The job at the sports bar was a means, but the studio was the end. Everything went into my demo. One day, while I was eating downstairs in the Chinese restaurant, gratefully savoring the cheap morsels of the day's only meal, I noticed a familiar face. It was Clarissa, the now ex-girlfriend of my brother's producer friend, Gavin Christopher. We hugged like old friends. I told her that I had officially relocated to the city. When I gave her the rundown on my chaotic living arrangements, like an angel, she invited me to come live with her. Connecting with Clarissa proved to be quite the blessing. She helped me find work and covered for me when I couldn't make my share of the $500 a month rent. A fortune to me then. Occasionally, she'd take me out to eat. We even did some songwriting in her mini studio. She had a few connections in the music scene from her time with Gavin. We even did some songwriting in her mini studio. She had a few connections in the music scene from her time with Gavin and would sometimes introduce me to other musicians who also lived on the Upper West Side. On these special occasions, she'd even loan me a little black dress to wear, not dissimilar to what I'm wearing on my first album cover. I certainly didn't have anything of my own that was appropriate for mingling. Like everything during that time, nothing lasted long. Eventually, the addition of some crazy roommates meant that Clarissa and I fled for our lives. I really can't get into the details of that. What? Mariah, girl, you is tripping. You mean to tell me that you was in danger, extreme danger for your whole life, you and the girl Clarissa, and you ain't even gonna drop no tea on that? That's bullshit. Little butterfly. That's bullshit. Like everything during that time, nothing lasted long. Eventually, the addition of some crazy roommates meant that Clarissa and I fled our lives. I really can't get into the details of that. And had to move on and out. We joined my friend Josephine, whom I had met when she was in an open relationship with my brother. She was living with a few other girls from Sweden. So it was 5 random girls living in a random apartment on top of a club called Rascals. I was downgraded to a mattress on the floor, but I was now living downtown in the heart of the New York art scene of the late 1980s. I was able to gain a bit of stability and a lot more faith. I knew more than ever that it was going to happen for me. So I've heard that this book is a hard read. It is. I'm not going to lie, but I'm trying to make it something that we all can follow. It's a hard read. I'm not going to deny that. Gavin and I were working on a song together while we were recording. He introduced me to a producer in the city. His name was Ben Margulis, who was hired as a drummer on the session for our song called Just Can't Hold It Back. Ben had his own studio, and I had begun working with him occasionally during my singer-student Long Island commuter days. His studio was in Chelsea on 19th Street between 6th and 7th Avenue. Located in the back of his father's cabinet-making factory, it was about the size of a pantry. It could have been a chicken coop for all I cared, and it honestly wasn't far from that. What mattered was that it was almost a full recording studio, the place where I belonged. For me, the studio is part sanctuary, part playground, and part laboratory. I loved being there, writing, singing, dreaming, and taking risks. I've slept many a night on many a studio floor, beginning with this humble yet magical place. Ben and I worked incessantly over the course of a year or so. Occasionally, his partner, Chris, would be there helping with the programming. Ben and I were both excited by the songs we were working on, but ultimately, our sensibilities and ambitions were different. Mariah Carey said he was lunching because he thought they was fitting to be the next Peaches and Herb. What's the dude, Annie Lennox, and what's the other guy, David, something like that. That was her example. But I say Peaches and Herb, Tony and Orlando. Who else? You don't have to be a star, baby. Mariah was like, no, that's not my ambitions. No. Okay. You cool and everything, but I want a solo career. I want this thing to be about me. You know how them Aries work, child. We were able to create a full demo that I thought really showcased my songwriting and vocal styles. Ben suggested we have some security in place by way of a formal agreement, so he photocopied a contract out of the book, All You Need to Know About the Business. We started setting up meetings with record companies and things began to move fast. We got an initial offer from a major publishing company for a song called All in Your Mind to be placed in a movie. I remember they offered me $5,000 for the publishing. I refused, even though back then $5,000 seemed like $1 million. I didn't sell because I believed my song came from somewhere special inside of me, and that selling them would be selling a piece of me. The music business is designed to confuse and control the artist. Later, seasoned music executives told me that Ben's deal was truly a golden ticket. I was trying to be loyal to someone who believed in me. A crucial time, but in my naivete, I didn't realize the enormity of what I had signed away. I was informed, and what I remember was that he got 50% of the publishing on all songs we worked on together for my first album. Okay, fine. But additionally, he received 50% of my artist royalties for the first album, 40% of the second album, 30% of the third, and so on. God damn. You got goop, girl. That dude wasn't your friend. He gooped you, girl. It went on that way from 1990 until about 1999. Even though Ben didn't write one word or note with me after the first album, out of loyalty to him and the hard work we put in together in the little studio, I never looked back and tried to reset or recoup. So yeah, a photocopy. That's the unceremonious origin of my first official deal. What a welcome to the music business, which I was so eager to get into, but I soon came to believe that my first signature was on a petty, shady piece of paper, and one that would be hard to get out of. But it certainly wouldn't be the last. Since that first background gig at 12 years old, I'd gained a respect for the specific skill and talent it takes to be a good background vocalist. I would listen specifically to background on the radio. I'd study the liner notes on albums and CD jackets to learn who was doing the background vocals, especially on a dance record, as I believe backgrounds are what makes those songs. I became familiar with all those exceptional singers like Audrey Wheeler and Lisa. How can I ease the pain? Fisher and Cindy. To me, she was one of the most absolute greatest. Cindy Mizelle was the background singer. She sang with the most gifted vocalist of all times, Barbra Streisand, Whitney Houston, Luther Vandross, and the Rolling Stones. She was a real singer's singer. Cindy was that to me. I looked up to her so much. You know who else is like that? That motherfucking Sissy Houston. Say what you want to about that lady, but she can background the hell out of a song. As Reaper, once I had broken into the inner circle of the elite background vocalists, recommendations started to come in. Background vocalists are hired by word of mouth. One singer will recommend another, and good singers like to work together. If the squad is strong, the session is strong. And if the sessions are strong, the money is good and steady. I was now in the tight and talented community of working musicians in New York City. Though I was invariably the youngest in the crowd, I also often hung out with some of them outside of work hours, mostly on Manhattan's Upper West Side. I wasn't into drinking or hooking up at all. The hang to me was about networking, emphasis on work. It paid off. I got an offer to do a demo session for a group called Maggie's Dream. When I got to the gig, I was told I would be singing for a male vocalist. Walked in this sexy, serene, toasted almond colored, artsy young man. He just looked like the definition of an artist. His thick, dark hair was just in the beginning phases of dreadlocks. Oh, that sound like that googly-eyed Lenny Kravitz. He had a perfect 5 o'clock shadow with a thick stripe of goatee down the center of his chin. He was dressed rock star casual. Heavy black leather vintage motorcycle jacket, black jeans, black t-shirt. He had a thin ring in his nose and smelled how I imagined ancient Egyptian oils would smell. His face was kind and fine with a boyish smile. He went by the name of Romeo Blue. His friends called him Lenny, and about a year later, the world would know him as Lenny Kravitz. Maggie's Dream had a drummer named Tony, who was also the drummer for the band of a singer named Brenda K. Starr. Brenda had a big R&B pop hit out called I Still Believe, which the record company was looking to rework. There was an opening for background singers, and Tony got me a slot at the audition. I was excited because Brenda had a big song on the radio, and you know how much I loved the radio. At the auditions, we were asked to sing Brenda's song right in front of the table where she sat. I gave it my all. Singing background with Brenda while she toured with her big song was big fun. Now I was boarding a plane as a professional singer going to do a big outdoor radio sponsored concert in LA. To me, being on the radio was being famous. For the show, Brenda was set to sing I Still Believe with me as one of the background vocalists. Will Smith was there to perform. Parents just don't understand. Now, if you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Now remember this, the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves you babies. You have a good one. Peace.
Say hello, black hole. Everybody! way, man. A-R-E. Hey, look, what is it with me? What is it with me? What is it with me? Can't see this.